A human head rolls across an alien floor, its eyes still wide with shock. The Diplomat's final moments, broadcast across the galaxy, become the spark that ignites Earth's fury. In mere seconds, humanity's centuries-long reputation for peace shatters. As alien spectators cheer, they fail to realize they've awakened a sleeping giant. How will Earth respond to this barbaric act? Ambassador Timothy Holt stepped onto the gleaming surface of Vero, the Galactic Empire's imposing capital. The vast metallic structure loomed before him, a testament to the Empire's technological might. As he gazed upon the alien twilight, Holt felt the weight of his mission pressing down on him. He had come to negotiate peace and resolve territorial disputes, but the Empire's historical disdain for humanity gnawed at his confidence. The Assembly Hall's oppressive atmosphere hit Holt like a physical force. Alien representatives, their bodies rigid and eyes glaring, offered no warmth or welcome. The Diplomat's hopes for a cordial reception evaporated in the face of their palpable hostility. Despite the cold reception, Holt clung to his belief in the power of diplomacy. As negotiations began, Holt found himself caught in an internal struggle. His innate optimism battled against a growing sense of unease. The skepticism radiating from the Empire's representatives was impossible to ignore, yet he pressed on, determined to bridge the vast gulf between their species. The Supreme Envoy Ifix's entrance marked a palpable shift in the room's energy. The alien's imposing presence seemed to suck the air from Holt's lungs. Ifix's words cut through the tense atmosphere like a plasma blade. Humanity is not our equal. You are merely tolerated, not embraced. Holt's diplomatic training faltered in the face of such blatant contempt. He struggled to maintain composure as Ifix continued, each word hammering home the true nature of this gathering. The realization dawned on Holt with horrifying clarity. This was no negotiation. He had walked into a carefully laid trap. As Ifix revealed the Empire's true intentions, Holt felt a chill seep into his bones. You were summoned not for negotiation, but for execution, the Supreme Envoy declared, his alien features twisting into what Holt could only interpret as cruel satisfaction. Your death will serve as a message to the human alliance. In that moment, the fragility of human existence in the vastness of the galaxy became painfully clear to Holt. His mind raced, grasping for words that might sway his captors, but he knew it was futile. The Empire had made its decision long before he'd set foot on Vero. Holt's pleas for mercy fell on deaf ears, met only with cold indifference. As alien guards moved to seize him, the Diplomat's thoughts turned to Earth, to the billions of humans who would soon learn of this betrayal. He realized with grim certainty that his death would not be in vain. It would become the catalyst for a conflict that would reshape the galaxy. As Holt was led away, his final thoughts were not of fear, but of the firestorm his execution would ignite. The Galactic Empire, in its arrogance, had gravely miscalculated. They believed this act would cow humanity into submission. Instead, they had sown the seeds of their own destruction, awakening a fury that would soon engulf the stars. In the cold vacuum of space, no one can hear you scream. But on Earth, the cry for retribution was deafening. As news of Holt's death reached humanity's homeworld, it sparked a transformation so profound that even the Empire's mightiest warriors would soon tremble in fear. What force could turn a peace-loving species into the galaxy's most terrifying adversary? Admiral John Harker stood motionless, his eyes fixed on the holographic display as it flickered with the final moments of Ambassador Holt's life. The guillotine's descent seemed to last an eternity, each frame burning itself into Harker's memory. As Holt's head rolled across the alien floor, a suffocating silence enveloped Earth's command center. The stillness shattered as voices erupted in a cacophony of shock and outrage. Officers who had maintained composure through countless crises now struggled to contain their emotions. Harker's fists clenched at his sides, knuckles white with barely suppressed rage. He had known Holt for years, shared meals and debates with the man who now lay lifeless on an alien world. The initial wave of disbelief gave way to a storm of conflicting reactions. Some officers called for immediate retaliation, their voices raw with fury as they demanded swift and brutal vengeance. Others urged caution, warning of the Empire's vast technological superiority and the potential consequences of hasty action. The division in the room mirrored the turmoil in Harker's own mind as he weighed the enormity of the situation. As the heated debate raged around him, Harker's thoughts drifted to his last conversation with Holt. The ambassador's unwavering belief in diplomacy now seemed a cruel joke in the face of such barbaric treachery. The Empire had not only executed a diplomat, but had also shattered centuries of human restraint in galactic affairs. Reports flooded in from across Earth's colonies, painting a picture of a species united in grief and anger. The execution, broadcast across the stars, had ignited a firestorm of rage that threatened to consume the galaxy. Harker watched as the mourning of billions transformed into a unified call for retribution. The human spirit, long tempered by peace, now burned with an intensity that even the Empire could not have anticipated. Defense Minister Anton Reeves' voice cut through the chaos, his words laden with grim determination. If we submit now, we condemn humanity to a future of slavery or worse. We cannot allow this act to go unanswered. Harker nodded, feeling the weight of history pressing down upon him. He knew that the next few moments would shape the destiny of his species for generations to come. Drawing a deep breath, Harker silenced the room with a raised hand. His voice, steady and resolute, carried the full authority of his rank. Peace achieved through submission is no peace at all. We've tried diplomacy, and the Empire has shown us the futility of that path. He paused, meeting the eyes of each officer in turn. I am calling an emergency war council. Prepare your strategic assessments and mobilization plans. The Empire believes they've cowed us into submission. Instead, they've awakened a force beyond their darkest nightmares. As the command center erupted into a flurry of activity, Harker turned back to the holographic display. The image of Holt's execution had been replaced by a galactic map, pinpointing the Empire's key strongholds. For centuries, humanity had been a minor player on this cosmic stage. Now, as the gears of war began to turn, Harker knew that the galaxy would never be the same. The coming conflict would reshape the stars themselves, and humanity would emerge either victorious or extinct. There was no middle ground. For generations, humanity had been the diplomats of the stars. Now, in a matter of hours, they would become its most feared warriors. The transformation about to unfold in Earth's war room would send shockwaves across the galaxy. The air in the war room crackled with tension as Earth's top military and political leaders filed in. Admiral John Harker stood at the head of the table, his face a mask of grim determination. The holographic display before him flickered to life, revealing a galactic map dotted with Imperial strongholds. As the last of the council members took their seats, Harker's voice cut through the nervous murmurs. Ladies and gentlemen, we face an unprecedented crisis. The execution of Ambassador Holt was not just an act of barbarism, but a declaration of war. Harker's words hung heavy in the air as he outlined the situation. The Empire's vast technological superiority loomed large, a seemingly insurmountable obstacle. Yet, as Harker presented the initial strategic options, a spark of defiance ignited in the eyes of those gathered. The council erupted into heated debate. Hawks, their voices sharp with anger, pushed for immediate and overwhelming retaliation. We must strike now, before the Empire can fully mobilize, argued General Vance, her fist slamming onto the table. On the other side, the Doves urged caution, their warnings tinged with fear. Commander Elias Branson's voice rose above the clamor. "I don't need to tell you that we have no precedent for war on this scale." As the arguments raged, Harker called for a detailed analysis of Earth's military capabilities. The stark reality of their inferior firepower and limited fleet size cast a pall over the room. Yet, as the assessment continued, glimmers of hope emerged. Earth's advanced AI systems, guerrilla warfare expertise, and unparalleled adaptability could potentially level the playing field. The ethical implications of their decision weighed heavily on the Council. Defense Minister Anton Reeves' voice cut through the debate. "Submit or be destroyed. That's the ultimatum they've given us." His words sparked a fierce discussion on the cost of war versus the price of inaction. The specter of human extinction loomed large, forcing even the most pacifistic members to confront the brutal reality of their situation. As the Council neared its decision, the atmosphere in the room shifted. The initial shock and outrage had crystallized into a steely resolve. Harker surveyed the faces before him, seeing in each the determination that had defined humanity's rise among the stars. With a deep breath, he prepared to voice a decision that would alter the course of galactic history. "We stand at a crossroads," Harker began, his voice steady and resolute. "The Empire believes they can cow us into submission. Instead, they've awakened a force beyond their comprehension." He paused, meeting the eyes of each council member. "I propose we invoke the Total War Doctrine. Every resource, every citizen, every scrap of human ingenuity will be devoted to this fight. We will not rest until the Empire falls." The Council's approval was unanimous. As Harker issued the order to transmit their declaration of war across the system, the gears of Earth's war machine began to turn. Fleets mobilized, weapons were primed, and strategies honed. The galaxy would soon learn the true cost of underestimating humanity's resolve. The first strikes were already being planned, marking the beginning of a conflict that would reshape the stars themselves. While fleets gathered and armies mobilized, Earth's first blow would come not from the sky, but from within. Station Zeta, the Empire's crown jewel, was about to learn why humans were the most feared infiltrators in the galaxy. Delta Team, Earth's elite special forces unit, stood at attention as Commander Alex Grant laid out their mission. The briefing room's holographic display showed Station Zeta in all its imposing glory. "This fortress is the Empire's main supply hub in the sector," Grant explained, his voice steady but charged with urgency. "Our objective: infiltrate, gather critical intelligence, and cripple their fuel reserves. Success here could turn the tide of the entire war." As their stealth shuttle approached the station, tension mounted among the team members. Lieutenant Sarah Chun, the squad sharpshooter, peered through the viewport at the looming structure. Its defense systems, a deadly array of energy cannons and shield generators, made a frontal assault suicide. Their only hope lay in exploiting a small blind spot in the station's sensor grid, a flaw discovered through weeks of painstaking analysis. The team moved with practiced precision as they breached the outer hull. Swift and silent, they secured the entryway before dispersing to the station's dimly lit corridors. Lieutenant David Sinclair, their tech specialist, worked furiously to loop the security feeds, his fingers dancing across his hollow interface with inhuman speed. Just as they neared the central data hub, disaster struck. A high-pitched alarm blared through the station, shattering the silence. "We've been made," Corporal Mike Reeves growled, hefting his pulse rifle. The team's carefully laid plans began to unravel as Imperial soldiers flooded the corridors. A fierce firefight erupted, energy bolts sizzling through the air. Delta Team held their ground, their superior training evident in every precise shot and coordinated maneuver. Chen's sniper rifle sang a deadly song, each pull of the trigger dropping an alien soldier with unerring accuracy. As the battle raged, Sinclair fought a different war. His fingers flew across holographic keys, racing against time to breach the Empire's encrypted systems. Almost there, he muttered, sweat beading on his forehead as alien firewalls crumbled before him. With a triumphant cry, Sinclair broke through. A flood of data poured into their secure drives, troop movements, weapon schematics, and the Holy Grail, a blueprint for the Empire's next offensive. As the team began their fighting retreat, they triggered a cascade of explosions in the station's fuel depot, leaving chaos in their wake. Delta Team's shuttle screamed away from Station Zeta, leaving behind a fortress in flames and confusion. As they hurtled through space towards a rendezvous point, the weight of their accomplishments settled in. They had struck the first meaningful blow against the Empire, proving that humanity was far from outmatched. Back on Earth, Admiral Harker reviewed the intelligence with growing excitement. The stolen data revealed vulnerabilities in the Empire's supposedly impenetrable defenses. More importantly, it showed that human ingenuity and adaptability could overcome even the most advanced alien technology. As plans for the next phase of the war took shape, one thing became clear. The galaxy would never again underestimate the determination of the human spirit. The Empire's vast war room, a monument to their galactic dominance, buzzed with frantic activity. Reports of human victories poured in, each more alarming than the last. But it wasn't the losses that truly terrified the Imperial High Command. It was the dawning realization that their vaunted technology might be their greatest weakness. Grand Admiral Zixthor, his tentacles twitching with barely contained rage, dismissed the initial reports of Earth's counterattack. A minor setback, he declared to his subordinates, mandibles clicking in disdain. These humans are nothing more than primitives with delusions of grandeur. His words echoed the sentiment that had permeated Imperial strategy for centuries. Humanity was beneath their notice, barely worth the effort to subjugate. As the cycles passed, however, the tide of information became impossible to ignore. Human fleets, employing tactics that defied Imperial doctrine, struck with devastating precision. The Empire's superior firepower often found itself outmaneuvered by smaller, more agile Earth vessels that seemed to anticipate their every move. Zixthor's confidence wavered as he watched holographic representations of Imperial strongholds fall one by one. The Empire's first major counteroffensive was meant to crush the human rebellion in a single, overwhelming strike. A vast armada, bristling with weapons that could shatter planets, descended upon Earth's outer colonies. The Imperial command expected swift surrender. Instead, they found themselves ensnared in a web of guerrilla tactics and unconventional warfare that nullified their technological advantage. On New Eden, the Empire's latest superweapon, a gravitational disruptor capable of tearing apart continental plates, malfunctioned spectacularly. Human infiltrators had reprogrammed its targeting systems, causing it to fire upon the Imperial fleet instead. The resulting carnage left the invasion force in disarray, easy prey for Earth's counterattack. As news of the defeat spread, panic began to set in among the Imperial ranks. Strategies that had conquered 1,000 worlds proved useless against humanity's adaptive brilliance. The Empire's rigid hierarchy, once a source of strength, now hampered their ability to respond to Earth's fluid battle plans. In a desperate bid to regain the initiative, the Empire unleashed its most feared weapon, the World Eater, a massive space station capable of stripping entire planets of resources in hours. As it approached the human-held system of Arcturus, Imperial commanders allowed themselves a moment of hope. Surely this would break the humans' will to fight. But as the World Eater prepared to fire, a swarm of human ships emerged from hyperspace, their hulls gleaming with a technology the Empire had never encountered. In a matter of moments, the pride of the Imperial fleet was reduced to drifting debris. The humans had not only anticipated the attack, but had developed countermeasures that rendered the Empire's ultimate weapon obsolete. Back in the war room, Grand Admiral Zixthor stared at the holographic display, his multiple hearts pounding with a foreign emotion: fear. The humans, once dismissed as insignificant, had revealed themselves to be the most formidable enemy the Empire had ever faced. As reports of further defeats flooded in, a chilling realization settled over the Imperial High Command. They had awakened a slumbering giant, and the galaxy would never be the same. While the Empire grappled with fear, Earth unleashed its full might. Decades of covert weapons development, hidden from prying alien eyes, now burst onto the galactic stage. The Titan-class battleships, Earth's newest marvels of engineering, emerged from secret shipyards. These behemoths dwarfed even the largest Imperial vessels, their sleek hulls bristling with weaponry that defied conventional understanding. As news of Earth's military resurgence spread, panic gripped alien worlds. The humans, long dismissed as technological infants, had leapfrogged centuries of development. Imperial analysts scrambled to comprehend the sudden shift in power dynamics, their once unshakable confidence crumbling in the face of humanity's hidden arsenal. Earth's most devastating weapon, the Singularity Cannon, made its debut in the battle for the Proxima Centauri system. The device tore holes in the fabric of space-time, swallowing entire Imperial fleets in seconds. Those who witnessed its power spoke of ships vanishing into swirling vortexes of darkness, never to be seen again. The psychological impact on enemy forces was immense, shattering morale and sparking widespread desertion. But it wasn't just raw firepower that gave humanity its edge. Earth's tacticians had developed a new form of warfare, blending guerrilla tactics with cutting-edge technology. Swarms of AI-controlled microdrones infiltrated Imperial command centers, gathering intelligence and sabotaging critical systems. Human soldiers, augmented with neural implants, moved with superhuman speed and precision, overwhelming alien defenses before they could react. As Earth's campaign gathered momentum, ethical concerns began to surface. The use of planet-cracking weapons and experimental bioweapons raised alarm among some human leaders. Admiral Harker found himself grappling with the moral implications of their actions. "We fight not just for vengeance, but for survival," he argued in a tense war council meeting. But at what cost to our humanity? The Empire's attempts to counter Earth's onslaught proved futile. Their rigid military doctrine, unchanged for millennia, crumbled in the face of humanity's adaptive strategies. Imperial strongholds, once thought impregnable, fell one after another to Earth's relentless assault. The galaxy watched in awe and terror as the balance of power shifted dramatically. As Earth's forces closed in on the Imperial capital, a sense of inevitability settled over the conflict. The Empire, which had stood for countless generations, teetered on the brink of collapse. Humanity's ruthless campaign had overwhelmed even the most pessimistic Imperial projections. The question on everyone's mind was no longer if Earth would win, but what kind of galactic order would emerge from the ashes of war. With victory in sight, Earth's leaders turned their attention to the final push. The Imperial capital of Vero, a planet-spanning megalopolis, loomed as the last major obstacle. As battle plans were drawn and fleets assembled, the galaxy held its breath. The coming conflict would determine not just the fate of the Empire, but the future of interstellar civilization itself. As Earth's armada approached Vero, a chilling realization swept through the Imperial ranks. Their vaunted defenses, once thought impenetrable, now seemed as fragile as glass before humanity's onslaught. The final battle for control of the galaxy was about to begin, and the tension in the Imperial palace was palpable. Admiral Harker stood on the bridge of the Titan-class battleship Odyssey, his eyes fixed on the looming silhouette of Vero. The planet-spanning megalopolis glittered like a jewel against the void of space, its orbital defense platforms forming a deadly web around the Imperial capital. Harker's voice cut through the tense silence on the bridge. "All ships, commence Operation Downfall. In an instant, the void erupted into a maelstrom of light and destruction. Human vessels surged forward, their advanced shielding absorbing the initial barrage from Vero's defenses. Swarms of fighters darted between capital ships, their pilots executing maneuvers that defied Imperial tactical doctrines. The space above Vero became a canvas of destruction, painted with the fiery trails of missiles and the actinic flashes of energy weapons. Within the Imperial palace, Grand Admiral Zixthor watched in horror as his carefully laid plans crumbled. "How?" he sputtered, his tentacles writhing in agitation. "How can they breach our defenses so easily?" The answer came in the form of a massive explosion that shook the very foundations of the palace. Earth's singularity cannon had torn a hole in Vero's planetary shield, leaving the surface exposed to the full fury of the human assault. As Imperial ships fell by the dozens, Zixthor ordered the deployment of the Empire's secret weapon, a massive battle station capable of generating gravitational singularities. For a moment, it seemed the tide might turn. The station's dark energy beams lashed out, swallowing entire squadrons of human fighters. But humanity had prepared for this moment. A lone ship, smaller than the rest, slipped through the chaos of battle. Within its hull was Delta Team, the same elite unit that had struck the first blow against the Empire months ago. Their mission was simple yet crucial: infiltrate the battle station and sabotage it from within. As they fought their way through twisting corridors, the space battle raged on outside. Admiral Harker watched with grim satisfaction as the Imperial fleet's formation began to falter. Earth ships pressed their advantage, their weapons tearing through alien hulls with ruthless efficiency. The once mighty Empire was being dismantled piece by piece, their technological superiority rendered meaningless in the face of human determination and ingenuity. Suddenly, a massive explosion bloomed in the heart of the Imperial formation. The secret battle station, meant to be the Empire's trump card, imploded in a spectacular display of light and energy. Delta Team had succeeded, turning the Empire's own weapon against them. With their last hope extinguished, Imperial resistance crumbled. As human dropships began their descent towards the palace, Zixthor and the remaining Imperial leaders realized the futility of further resistance. The Empire, which had stood for countless generations, had fallen in a matter of months to a species they had once dismissed as primitive. As human forces stormed the ornate halls of the Imperial palace, the galaxy held its breath, wondering what new order would arise from the ashes of war. With the capture of Vero and its leaders, humanity stood on the precipice of a new era. The challenges of victory, however, would prove just as daunting as those of war. As the dust settled on the ruined Imperial capital, Earth's leaders turned their attention to the monumental task of reshaping galactic society. Victory achieved, Earth's leaders gathered to decide the fate of 100 billion alien lives. Their choice would echo across the stars for millennia to come. What system of governance could possibly unite such a diverse and war-torn galaxy? The fall of the Galactic Empire left a power vacuum of unprecedented scale. As the dust settled on Vero's shattered skyline, humanity found itself thrust into a role it had never anticipated: galactic hegemon. Admiral Harker stood before the hastily assembled Council of Earth, his face etched with the weariness of war and the weight of responsibility. "We've won the war," Harker began, his voice carrying across the silent chamber. "Now we face the far greater challenge of winning the peace." The room erupted into heated debate as factions argued over how to wield Earth's newfound power. Some called for the dismantling of all alien military forces, while others advocated for a more measured approach. As reports flooded in from across the galaxy, tension mounted. Some alien species hailed humanity as liberators, eager to throw off the yoke of Imperial rule. Others viewed Earth's ascension with fear and suspicion, wondering if they had simply exchanged one tyrant for another. The Vespid Confederation, a longtime rival of the Empire, mobilized its fleets in a show of force that threatened to reignite conflict. Earth's leaders grappled with the ethical quandaries of their new position. The defeated Imperial citizens, numbering in the trillions, posed a particularly thorny issue. We cannot punish entire populations for the crimes of their leaders, argued Defense Minister Anton Reeve. Yet we cannot ignore the atrocities committed in the Empire's name. As debates raged, a new vision began to take shape. Drawing inspiration from Earth's own history of post-war reconstruction, Admiral Harker proposed a galactic Marshall Plan. This ambitious program would rebuild devastated worlds, integrate alien species into a new interstellar economy, and foster cultural exchange on an unprecedented scale. The Council's decision was not unanimous, but the majority saw the wisdom in Harker's approach. Earth would use its military might not to dominate, but to safeguard a new era of cooperation. The announcement sent shockwaves across the galaxy as former enemies cautiously embraced the promise of a more equitable future. As the first alien diplomats arrived on Earth to discuss the new galactic order, humanity stood at a crossroads. The choices made in the coming months would determine whether the hard-won peace would endure or crumble under the weight of ancient hatreds and new ambitions. The galaxy watched and waited, wondering if this young species could truly forge a lasting unity among the stars. In the span of a few tumultuous months, humanity had transformed from a diplomatic footnote to the dominant force in the galaxy. The fall of the Galactic Empire left Earth at the helm of a vast, fractured interstellar community. This newfound power came with a heavy burden: the responsibility to forge a lasting peace from the ashes of war. Admiral Harker stood before the Council of Earth, his weathered face a testament to the brutal campaign. "We've proven our strength," he said, his voice carrying the weight of hard-won victory. But strength alone cannot build a just society. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity now faced a choice: to rule through fear or to lead by example. The moral cost of their victory loomed large. Entire alien worlds lay in ruins, their populations decimated by weapons of unimaginable power. The same ingenuity that had propelled Earth to victory now posed a threat to the very fabric of galactic civilization. As one council member grimly noted, "We've opened Pandora's box. There's no going back." Yet amidst the uncertainty, hope flickered. The galaxy, long accustomed to Imperial oppression, looked to Earth with cautious optimism. Could this young species, tempered by conflict but unburdened by millennia of galactic politics, chart a new course? As alien diplomats arrived on Earth, the future hung in the balance. Would humanity's rise herald a new age of cooperation, or would the cycle of violence begin anew?